at Ozone Park when I was about 7, 8 years old,
Okay.
and then I moved over to Howard Beach when I was about 13 or 14.
Okay. So interesting enough is, I always say especially Italians are nomadic, right? When they move from Italy, they move to, let's say, Brooklyn or Queens or whatever. And then within the boroughs, they move to better areas or to Jersey, and so forth. So theoretically, you were moving on up, right? Like, they're all good neighborhoods, but Howard Beach is a great neighborhood, a great enclave. But obviously there was a lot of Cosa Nostra influence. So give us kind of your first brush with dealing with Cosa Nostra.
Well, I was born around it. So my uncle, like I said, was a captain with the Gambinos.
Yeah.
My cousin was a hitter with the Gambinos. My grandfather was with them. My grandpa died in jail. My whole family's around it. So it was kind of like embedded in me since a kid. Um, Ozone Park was on the end, like on its outs.
Yeah.
Back in the 80s and 70s, Ozone Park was the Mafia stronghold, and then it became Howard Beach.
Yeah.
It kind of switched over. And then that's why everybody was going to Howard Beach, because that's where all the Italians were now. And Howard Beach became like, the motherland of Mafia. We had 4 bosses living there at once, dozens of captains, wise guys. It was just, every block you were on was just tons of gangsters,
It
you know?
was a Musso,
And that's pretty much when I
Gotti.
started. All my friends related. We all knew each other. You know what I'm saying? So just growing up around, it was normal for us, and that's pretty much what it was.
Got it.
I knew it my whole life. It never where I had a brush in with it. It was just there always.
You were indoctrinated. So Musso, Gotti, Messino. Who was a fourth boss?
We even had what's his face out there, Joey Scopo.
Okay, so you had some serious hitters that way. Yeah, because that's the thing. Obviously interviewed a lot of mob guys, associates and made guys, and generally, you're not random. You're involved, right? How was your parents' outlook towards it? Because I kind of know some people, their uncle, their grandfather, that kind of stuff.
Right.
And the parents kind of go either way. Was it like, hey, accept it, and like, not that they wanted you to, but like, it wasn't frowned upon, or was your parents like, bro, stay away from these guys? Like, Tia's up there.
Nah, not really. I mean, like I said, pretty much everybody around me was a criminal, so it was normal. My mother wasn't okay with it, but I was pretty much out the house when I was 17, so there was really no, telling me anything.
So
I started going to jail at 18 years old.
What type of work did you do initially for the mob?
You start off small, bull crap collections, robberies, little stuff like that, handling little stupid things, and then they see what you're capable of, and then it keeps on. And then eventually it'll come to, oh, well, can you kill a guy? It'll start off small, and they see what you're capable of, and all of a sudden, oh, well, you want to shoot this guy?
Why,
and then you cross the line, as Uncle Vin would call it, crossing over.
why the bananas?
My best friend was my whole family was Gambino. I was born Gambino, but my best friend Bobby G was related to Vinny Sauer and Ronnie G. So we just went together. Me and him were partners and everything, and we were doing crazy shit growing up. So me and him we just chose to go with Ronnie, his uncle Ronnie.
So I interviewed Anthony Arlotta a little while back, and he nailed it on the head. He goes, anybody over 50 saw a different mob. Anybody under 50 saw a way different mob. So like if you were over 50 and a kid, over 50 now and you were a kid, you caught the glory days. You saw cool and dope shit. If you're under 50 like us, we kind of caught the tail end of the stick, right?
But, that's true and not true, because I'm almost 40 years old, and I can tell you, yeah, I was with all the older guys that were over 50. So, and also you can understand, I worked for one of the most wealthiest guys in the 5 boroughs for the mob. So we kind of lived the good life of that life. You know what I mean? My captain was worth $35 million.
Like an enclave, like a protected enclave, if you will.
Yeah, he made a lot of rich guys look broke. You know what I mean? So it was like, we kind of lived the glory days, because we were still shooting people, still trying to kill people, constantly assaulting people. We were the last of the Mohegans, as they call us. You know what I mean? I probably did more violence than guys that are older. You know what I mean? Guys that are over 50, I make them look silly.
So I wonder the psychology of that, though. So I'm with you that you dealt with. So okay. So this makes sense now to me. You dealt with a wealthy guy. So you're young. That's aspirational.
Right.
It's pretty cool, if you will, to be part of a brotherhood. Whether you're an associate or an inducted member, and you're Italian and you're in the area. So all that makes sense. As you got older and it started doing more work, but also more beatings and shootings and that kind of stuff. Did it ever? And it's crazy to ask this, but did it ever challenge your moral compass, or were you just like, you know what, like you got over it quick, or maybe you have ice veins? Like, how did you kind of reconcile some of the
Nah,
moral?
it just became my normal, bro. It was
Okay.
my normal. It was normal to me. Hurting someone, doing something, collecting, robbing. That was just our life. We thought that
Yeah.
was what you're supposed to do. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And you had a little bit of trouble. You knocked off a game one time that was a little more connected than you thought. Was it bad intel, or you didn't give a shit, or a little bit of both?
No, it was bad. I don't lie. It was bad intel. We didn't
Yeah.
know, and when we found out afterwards, we had to give all the stuff back anyway. But I mean, it was bad. Because then they don't know, did our